The origin of the fear of judgment. 1. Childhood and family environment. One of the deepest origins of the fear of judgment comes from childhood. As children, we are completely dependent on the acceptance of our parents or caregivers. If a child is constantly criticized, hears negative comments, or is compared to others, they may gradually form a belief that their self-worth depends on how others evaluate them. Criticism from parents and teachers. Remarks like, "You can't do it this way," "Why aren't you as good as your sibling?" or "You have to be perfect to be worthy of love," can be deeply ingrained in a child's mind. This makes them feel they are never good enough. And as they grow up, the fear of judgment becomes a part of their self. Unrealistic expectations. When parents set overly high standards, a child will always live in fear of failure. They believe that only by achieving success can they receive acceptance. 2. Social and social media influence. Modern society, especially social media, has a significant impact on the fear of judgment. We are constantly exposed to an endless stream of information about others' perfect lives. From their appearance and careers to their relationships, standards of beauty and success, social media often only shows the most beautiful moments, creating a subtle pressure to be perfect, just like what we see on screen. This makes many people constantly worry that they are not pretty or successful enough, and are easily judged by others. Like and comment culture. Interactions on social media, through likes, shares, and comments, can become a measure of self-worth. When a post doesn't get much attention, or receives negative comments, the person who posted it may feel rejected and hurt. Consequences and how to overcome it. The fear of judgment can lead to many negative consequences such as anxiety, depression, or cause us to stop pursuing our passions. To overcome this fear, you can take a few steps. Awareness and acceptance. Start by recognizing that this fear exists within you. Accept that it's a natural emotion, and don't blame yourself for it. Change your self-talk. Instead of self-criticism, encourage yourself. Replace negative thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," with, "I'm doing my best." Limit social media use. Take time to disconnect from social media and focus on real life. Engage in activities you love and connect with people you trust. Focus on your core values. Ask yourself what is truly important to you. Your value is not in the praise or criticism of others, but in who you are as a person. In summary, the fear of judgment is a complex feeling with roots in childhood. From the criticism of parents and teachers, and from the pressures of society and social media, understanding these causes is the first step to overcoming it and living a more fulfilling life. More confident in yourself. Thoughts and perceptions. Overthinking. You constantly analyze and dissect every situation, from minor details to major decisions. You often imagine the worst-case scenarios, worry about things that haven't happened yet, and repeatedly ask yourself, "What if?" This can lead to sleeplessness, stress, and an inability to focus on the present. Lack of self-belief. You always feel you are not good enough, are undeserving, and frequently compare yourself to others. When faced with a challenge, you tend to be self-conscious and doubt your abilities, easily giving up before you even start. Always seeking safety. You tend to cling to what is familiar, are reluctant to change, and avoid risky situations, no matter how small. You are afraid to try new things. Fear failure, and fear being judged, thereby limiting yourself to your comfort zone. Behaviors and attitudes. Avoiding expressing personal opinions. You often remain silent in discussions or when asked for your opinion. You fear being judged, opposed, or not accepted by others if your views differ from the crowd. This causes you to lose your voice and feel disrespected. People-pleasing. You prioritize others' needs and desires over your own. You find it difficult to say no, always agree even when you don't want to, and often feel exhausted from trying to please everyone. Procrastination. You always find ways to postpone tasks, especially those that require commitment or risk. You spend a lot of time planning perfectly without actually starting, or get bogged down with small, insignificant tasks to avoid confronting the main one. Indecisiveness. You find it very difficult to make decisions, even simple ones. You fear making the wrong choice and having to be responsible for the consequences. Emotions and physiological symptoms. Constant anxiety. You may feel restless, tense, or inexplicably nervous. Sometimes these feelings are accompanied by physical symptoms like a racing heart, sweating, shortness of breath, or trembling, irritability and anger. Long-term accumulated fear can manifest as irritability and anger towards those around you. This is a defense mechanism to hide inner weakness. If you recognize some of these signs in yourself, you might be controlled by fear. The important thing is to be able to name what that fear is so you can begin the journey of confronting and overcoming it. The power of self-acceptance. Since childhood, we have been taught and guided by certain standards. High grades, outstanding achievements, a good appearance, or a stable job are all considered measures of success and self-worth. Society implicitly sets norms, and we, in one way or another, try to please those norms. Pressure from family, friends, colleagues, and social media makes us feel like we are never good enough. We fear being judged, fear being criticized, and this drives us to hide our flaws, our hurts, and the hidden parts of ourselves. Trying to be perfect is like wearing a jacket that is too tight. We might look neat and tidy, but the feeling inside is incredibly constricted and uncomfortable. The constant fear of having our shortcomings discovered prevents us from expressing our personalities and trying new things for fear of failure. As a result, life becomes heavy, lacking genuine freedom and joy. The feeling, the power of acceptance. Accepting your imperfections is a process, a journey of discovery and healing. It starts with daring to face yourself, to acknowledge your weaknesses and mistakes without judgment. Instead of seeing flaws as a burden, see them as part of your uniqueness, the mark that makes you who you are. An easily angered person can learn to control their emotions. An introvert can find strength in their quietness. Someone who has failed can become more resilient and experienced. When we let go of the desire to be perfect, we also let go of invisible pressures. We no longer have to live up to others' expectations, no longer have to wear a mask to hide the truth. Instead, we are free to live authentically with our own emotions, thoughts, and values. This acceptance brings a deep inner peace, a feeling that we are good enough and worthy of love, even when we are not perfect. This self-acceptance is also the foundation for genuine relationships. When we are not afraid to show our flaws, those who truly love us will accept and appreciate our true selves. Love and connection built on a foundation of authenticity are much more enduring than relationships based on a pretense of perfection. Accepting your imperfections doesn't mean you stop trying to be better. On the contrary, it's a motivation to grow in a healthy and sustainable way. We don't improve ourselves out of fear of rejection, but because we love ourselves and want to become the best possible version of ourselves, with all our strengths and weaknesses. That is true maturity, the path to a meaningful and happy life. The truth about judgment. Judgment often comes from things we don't know or understand. People tend to use their personal experiences, opinions, and emotions to judge others. It's like looking at the world through a pre-shaped lens. If that lens is distorted, the reflected image will not be accurate. In reality, most people who pass judgment don't have enough information to truly understand your story. They only see a single moment, an action, or a small part of the big picture of your life. They don't know about your silent efforts, the difficulties you've gone through, or the dreams you hold dear. Their judgment is therefore one-sided, lacking empathy and compassion. More profoundly, others' judgment is sometimes a reflection of their own insecurities. When a person is insecure about their appearance, they may criticize someone else's. When a person fails in their career, they may judge your success as luck. Judgment becomes a way for them to reassure themselves, to feel better about themselves by putting others down. They are not judging you, they are judging their own fears and shortcomings. The feeling, the power of realizing the truth. When we understand the nature of judgment, we will no longer be controlled by it. Imagine someone on the rooftop of a tall building criticizing you for walking too slowly. Would you really believe that their words are true, when they don't know that you are carrying something heavy or just recovered from an injury? When we realize that those judgments are not the truth, but merely personal opinions, we can let go of the burden of self-doubt and anxiety. This truth brings us incredible freedom. It helps us realize that our self-worth is not based on the evaluations of others. Instead of trying to please everyone, We can focus on living a meaningful life on our own terms. When we are firm in our self-belief, external judgments will no longer have the power to hurt us. Instead of listening to criticism, listen to your inner voice. Ask yourself, am I living true to my values? Am I doing things that make me happy? When the answer is yes, no judgment can ever overshadow that truth. Not letting others' judgment define you is a courageous act. The first step towards living an authentic and complete life. Transforming judgment into motivation. When a judgment appears, instead of reacting emotionally, stop and see it as an opportunity for self-evaluation. A judgment can be one of two things. Valid judgment. Sometimes, criticism can contain a kernel of truth. For example, if you are trying to lose weight and a friend says you are not disciplined enough, it might be upsetting. However, instead of getting angry, ask yourself, is there any truth to what they said? Maybe you have missed a few workouts or eaten unhealthy foods. In that case, the judgment is not an attack, but a reminder to be more serious about your goals. It becomes a test of your discipline and perseverance. Invalid judgment. Most judgments fall into this category. Someone judges you because they don't understand your story, or simply because they are reflecting their own insecurities. When you face such judgments, see it as a test of your self-belief. Is your belief strong enough to stand firm against those biased opinions? Are you ready to defend the path you've chosen, no matter what others say? The feeling, the power of transformation. Turning judgment into motivation is not easy. It requires a shift in mindset and a strong will. However, when you do it, you will realize a tremendous power being unleashed within you. When you accept valid criticism, you not only discover areas for improvement but also demonstrate remarkable courage. You are not afraid to acknowledge your mistakes and are ready to face them. This acceptance and change will help you become stronger, more resilient, and closer to your goals. When you overcome invalid criticism, you are affirming your self-worth. Every negative word you ignore is a step in strengthening your belief in the path you're on. Those judgments are like gusts of wind, if your belief is a strong tree. The stronger the wind, the deeper the roots. You are no longer swayed by external factors but are focused on developing and improving yourself. In this way, judgment is no longer an obstacle but a motivator for you to be more confident, more determined, and more mature. It helps you filter out negative voices, keep useful advice, and continue walking your own path with an unshakable spirit. The courage of small actions. Practicing courage doesn't necessarily mean facing a tiger or skydiving from a plane. It's about courage in the most ordinary situations of life. These seemingly small actions have immense power. Daring to say, no, this word is not just a refusal, but also an affirmation of your boundaries. When you dare to say no to an inappropriate request, a time-wasting offer, or an uncomfortable gathering, you are saying yes to self-respect and your own priorities. Daring to give a personal opinion in a meeting. The workplace sometimes makes us hesitate to speak our minds, for fear of being judged or opposed. However, daring to present a different perspective or a new idea not only shows self-confidence but also contributes valuable input to the group. This action is also a way for you to assert your voice and presence. Daring to share an imperfect photo on social media, in a virtual world full of carefully curated images. Sharing a genuine, unedited, makeup-free moment is an act of courage. It's when you dare to accept and show your true self, dare to face judgment, and advocate for an authentic lifestyle. These small actions are the first bricks that build self-confidence and courage. Each time you dare to do a small thing, you reinforce your self-belief and realize that fear is just a barrier you created yourself. The feeling, freedom from courage. When you start practicing courage, you will feel a powerful change from within. The anxiety about what others think will gradually be replaced by self-confidence. You are no longer constrained by societal norms or expectations. Courage brings a feeling of true freedom. Freedom to live by your own values. Freedom to pursue your passions. And freedom to love your true self. You will realize that life becomes more interesting when you dare to take risks. Dare to challenge yourself, and dare to fail. Failure is no longer something to be feared, but a valuable lesson. Judgments no longer hurt you, but become a small noise. Once you are used to overcoming small fears, you will have the courage to face bigger challenges in life. So, start right now. Find one small thing you've been afraid to do and try it. It could be speaking your mind, saying no to an offer, or sharing a genuine photo. Each small step will lead you to a more courageous and free person. The power of silence. Silence when being judged is not a sign of weakness or admitting defeat. On the contrary, it is an act of great courage and wisdom. It shows that you have overcome the need for validation and truly understand your own value. Silence demonstrates confidence. When someone judges you, they often expect a reaction. They want to see you get angry, disappointed, or defensive. The fact that you remain silent and don't let their words bother you shows that you are completely confident in the path you're on. It's like a towering mountain that doesn't need to argue with the wind blowing past. Silence removes the stage. Judgment is like a play that needs two people, the one who speaks and the one who reacts. When you stay silent, you refuse to participate in that play. The person judging will have no one to continue with, and their words will become meaningless. Silence gives you time and space, instead of wasting energy on arguing. Silence helps you focus on more important things. You can use that time to continue your work, learn, and grow. That action in itself is a powerful response. The feeling, happiness from serenity. Once you get used to using silence as a tool, you will feel a deep sense of peace. You are no longer pulled into a vortex of negative emotions. All external judgments will no longer have the power to hurt you, because you have created a strong shield from within. Silence and continuing to do your work is the best way to prove yourself. The results of your work, your growth, and the achievements you accomplish will speak for themselves. All judgments will fade away when you achieve your goals. Remember, you don't need to prove your worth to anyone but yourself. Silence is a powerful testament to your determination and courage. It shows that you don't need words to defend yourself, because your actions have said it all. The power of your safe zone. Life is not always easy. We have to face judgment, failures, and invisible pressures from society. These things can weaken our spirit and make us lose faith in ourselves. At those times, a safe zone is a place we can return to for healing. Unconditional acceptance. A true friend doesn't judge you for your mistakes, doesn't criticize you when you fail, but will be there to listen and encourage you. They accept you with all your strengths and weaknesses. This helps you feel safe to show your true self, without having to wear a mask or try to be perfect. A source of encouragement and support, the people in your safe zone will be the first to celebrate your successes and the first to help you get back on your feet after a failure. They believe in your potential, even when you doubt yourself. Their words bring strength, giving you the motivation to keep trying. Healthy challenges. A good relationship isn't just about agreement. The people in your safe zone can also offer genuine feedback and constructive advice. However, those words are spoken with good intentions, stemming from care, not judgment or criticism. The feeling, the power of genuine connection. When you find the people who are your safe zone, you will feel a deep peace and happiness. You are no longer alone on your journey. Every burden seems lighter, and every fear seems to vanish. This connection brings a sense of belonging and being loved. It helps you realize that you are not alone. When you feel supported and accepted, you will have the courage to face external challenges. Your self-belief is strengthened, and you become stronger, more resilient, and more confident. Cherish and spend time with these relationships. They are life's priceless gifts. At the same time, become a safe zone for the people you love. By doing so, you not only receive but also spread kindness and compassion.